Great. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pageant Sit Down. My name's Regina Elena, and we are so excited for episode 120. It's crazy. It's 120 episodes, and I am so excited to be back with my co host, Elizabeth. Hey, Liz.
Hi, Regina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's raining here, so it's not beautiful weather, but I'm excited to get cozy and start talking with my girls.
Me too. I think I'm having internet connection issues on my end, but I'm hoping it's fine for our viewers. Sorry, it's the weather. I blame the weather.
Yes.
But it was great seeing you this past weekend in
Yes.
person and not virtually at the Canada's Perfect pageant.
It was so much fun. We got to see all of our friends. I love going back to pageant land, so it was really fun being able to make it there. You did a great job with emceeing, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a lot of bios and they were really long, so I'm glad I got through it.
Yes.
Speaking of the Canada's Perfect pageant, Sarah Edmonds, who was at the pageant and competed, congratulations on your title. Her talent was incredible.
Yes.
She's in the chats and says, I'm so excited.
Me too. Well, I guess we should get right into it. Our audience is excited as well. So everyone, please welcome your current Miss Greater Sudbury 2024, Chloé Arsenault. How are you, Chloé?
I'm great, honestly. It's rainy here too, so we're just gonna pretend that's not the case because I'm getting cozy and getting ready. I'm so excited.
Yay. It's been a minute since we got to talk, so I'm really excited because we all know each other. We're good friends, so it's nice to catch up.
Not on camera, so you keep. Oh, there I am. Okay. Technical difficulties on my end. Sorry, everyone. But Chloé, first off, congratulations on your brand new title. I know Elizabeth said, we know you. We've known you for a few years now, but there are some viewers who might not know who you are. So if you can, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I feel like my pageant journey goes way back now, and it's so crazy because you don't realize how time flies, honestly. I started pageantry in my teen years, and I just recently won Miss Greater Sudbury, but prior to that, I do have a deep history in pageantry. And my first official title that I ever won was Miss Teen Galaxy Canada back in 2020. So it's been a while, it's been a journey. I'm excited to be back in the pageant scene. That being said, I feel like I've grown so much throughout the years, and I actually just recently realized that I will be going back to Miss Ontario and it'll be my 10th pageant. So that's crazy. So that means that I've competed 9 times. That's just amazing in itself. Pageantry has opened so many doors for me. And again, here I am returning to Miss Ontario, where I have competed 3 times previously, aiming for the same title that has been a goal of mine since I'm 16. So, dedication, hard work, and being able to grow and evolve and see my own personal transformation to be in the role I am now, to be the queen that I am now, and the title that I do have now and that I hold. Super special. I get to represent my community. That's amazing. I feel like I give back so much to Sudbury, so it's great to be able to have a title to honor that. And yeah, so that's a bit about my pageant history, and I'm just excited to be here today.
So excited to have you. It's so crazy to think that Canada Galaxy was our journey started together at Canada Galaxy in 2020. It feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. It's so weird to think how many years ago it was, but it's also at the same time, it feels like so long ago at the very same time, just because I feel like so much has happened since then, and so many titles and pageants and life events have happened between the 3 of us, so it's really cool to see where we're at now. Kind of speaking of that, I was curious to see, how do you feel about entering into the Miss division? I know you've been in the Miss division for a couple pageants now, but when I met you, you were a lovely little teen. So tell me how that transition was for you.
I think the transition from teen to Miss was honestly rather quick. Due to my reign in the teen division was the transition from COVID to having to compete at internationals as my first ever Miss pageant in the Miss division at international. So I didn't have the time to even compete for a Canadian title in the Miss division. It was like jump right into like the biggest level you can and rather succeed. And I did go into the international pageant with a really big mindset, because it's crazy to think, but my platform, my career has to actually make me more mature. And I think because of that, I was able to bring that aspect to internationals. And I did win Best Interview. And I mean, I was super proud of that. And the first question I did get at internationals was, do you believe you are ready to be in the Miss division, and why? And I see those faces, right? It's like, oh my God, how would I answer that? Like, and crazy enough, it was actually the question that I felt the most confident in, because I actually was able to relay it to myself. And I said, being a woman in a male dominated industry, I do work in a skilled trades, and I have no choice to have a strong mindset and to work a lot harder. And these are attributes that I'm bringing at this pageant right now. And I know that I can succeed in the Miss division because of that. And I was like, all right, that was a great start to my interview. And it's been, you know, kind of beautiful to see, because I see how I've evolved so much throughout the years too. And being able to kind of look back at my time in the teen division really helps me realize that I've grown so much, right? And being able to actually have those experiences and transition, I feel like has been beautiful for me. And I feel so like confident and just happy in the Miss division. You know, I don't feel like the stress of like, oh my God, I just transitioned teen to Miss. It's just like, I gracefully went through it, and now it's like, this is like tough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough competition. It's the biggest competition for most pageants. You have women with long histories in pageantry, some that's their first pageant, and some that have strong platforms. And I think that's where I see myself as a standout, because my platform is so unique and so real and so important to today's society, that I have that little leverage when I compete, and I'm so happy to promote what I do. And I think pageantry has allowed me to do that.
Awesome. I'm just going to, Chloe, I'm going to refresh you on my system. So to our viewers, she's going to disappear for just a second. I just want your camera to be a little bit more clear on my end. So she's disappeared, but she'll be back in 3, 2. There she is. Okay, perfect.
Nice.
Sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt you.
All good.
It's so funny that you both mentioned how like Chloe started as a teen, because Liz, you are the one who crowned. You passed your title on to Chloe. So I have 2 teens here who moved into the Miss division. This is great.
Yes, it's very fun. That was such a fun memory. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but I always think about how I missed the confetti cannon for poor Chloe. We were way left, and I had to like drag her. I'm like, if you watch the video, it's hilarious actually.
It is.
So it's a good memory.
It's
I loved crowning Chloe. It was a great weekend, and that was also the night you won, Regine. So good night all around.
100%.
Yep.
Gotta love that confetti cannon.
Always the confetti cannons. It never hits exactly where you need it.
I think I'm the only one that's ever not been under. I was so excited for the crowning moment. So like,
I know.
Every time I watch it, I'm like ready to be crowned right in the spot, and then Liz is like, no, you have to.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's like I tried to do it on time, but it is what it is.
It happens. So Chloe, you took a little bit of a break because you are a working woman and wanted to really set your foot in what you do back at home and in the mines. So what was it about the Greater Sudbury Youth Ambassador pageant that you were like, no, I need to go back now?
So it's actually really crazy that you say that, because it was on my mind. And obviously, like, I started working full time, and I was like, is this something like I could juggle with my schedule? Is this doable? And then like the fear of like, oh, like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. And all these things were kind of like rolling in the back of my mind. But overall, it was the last day to sign up 2 weeks before pageant. 2 weeks is what I took to prep. And said, life's too short. If I don't sign up now, I'm going to regret this. And I think I'm in a position like in my life where it's like I can still compete in pageants, and I think it's something that's so special to me that I just fully lived by the like, let's just do it. And it was full dive from that day I signed up, because 2 weeks, if anyone knows, 2 weeks is not a lot of time to prep for a pageant. So that was like planning my Shein order on Express, and and they came in the day before, which is like, right? I was like, okay, pray that this is my time. I was lucky enough to borrow one of my previous Sister Queen's gowns. I DM'd her. I was like, hey. So I signed up like today to a pageant, and I would love to borrow your gown. And honestly, everything just happened so perfect for me that it felt so right. And especially like leading up to the pageant was like super stressful, because I'm like, oh my God, 2 weeks. And I did it all. I brought everything I could. I still memorized my intros. I walked in there as if I treated this like I prepped for the last 3 months. And I gave it my all, because I know that with Miss Greater Sudbury is a full scholarship back to Miss Ontario, and that's something that I was like, you know, for me to be able to go back to Miss Ontario, I feel like it'd be great to represent my full community. So it was just full circle moment. And yeah, I think the best thing to do is trust your gut instinct when you have that leap of faith that's like, do it, because you will regret it. Yeah, live by that now.
Love that.
Yeah. It looked like a really fun weekend. I was like tuning in on social media a little bit. Can you give us maybe some fun moments, or what were some of the fun things that you were up to on that weekend?
It's a very fast pageant. It's 2 days, but 1 day full of workshops, and then the next day is just honestly getting ready, and then you're on stage. So very quick pageant. The first day was really fun because we just did a bunch of like fun workshops, and we have a bunch of different age divisions, so we're kind of like grouped up together doing a bunch of like great workshops. Like one of them was like speed painting. Another one, like we had all these little jars, and like they were glitter, and in each jar represented like, you know, it was like a compliment to yourself, like I'm beautiful, and it like you'd fill your jar with what you believed relayed to you. So there was like 10 jars that represented like I'm funny, I'm confident, and it was super fun. So everybody got to make their own cute little like sprinkle jars that represent them and what they think they bring to the table. So it's really personal workshops. I wouldn't treat it almost as a pageant, but more so just kind of like self-development and really helping on your confidence. So it was super great. I mean, free pizza. Everyone loves free pizza.
Very true.
And we had dessert before pizza. So I mean, hey,
ooh, even better.
Yeah, that's even better than just eating pizza right up. So I mean, overall, a really great experience. I mean, it's a great way to spend a weekend. I have some friends that were competing in the pageant, so you know, it's great to reconnect with some girls that I know through the systems. And I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it was such a great weekend, and I mean, walked away with the title, but that's just the cherry on top of how great Cheryl makes her systems, and how well-rounded are her queens, because they're leaders, and it's something that's really important to be able to be a representative in the Greater Sudbury Youth Ambassadors, because they do look for community leaders. So your community involvement is really important, and what will you be able to do as making a difference in your own community. So oh, sorry guys.
That's fine.
Table just moved.
It's all good. That sounds awesome. It sounds like a really great competition, fun weekend to like have fun with your sisters, and it just sounds like a good time. I really kind of want to dive in, because I know a big part of your pageant journey is your platform, and you share a lot about it, and it's such a unique and cool thing that you talk about. So for those who haven't heard of it, which should be very few people, but if there is anyone out there that doesn't know about it, can you tell us a bit about it?
So my platform started when I was 16. So I'm gonna give a little backstory on it. During a transition of high schools, the only classroom available at the time was welding. And I remember like signing up and being like, okay, Chloe, if you don't like this, you don't have to do it ever again. It's one semester, get by it, you'll be all right. So I never thought more of it. And first day I walk into the classroom, obviously I'm the only girl, and the nerves kick in, right? I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? I can't survive a full year of this. Like, I don't know anything about welding. It's metal. That's all I know. But I trusted my instinct. I'm like, okay, just get through this first day and then just see where it goes. So we luckily transitioned into the shop, and I was lucky that somebody kind of took me under their wing and was like, let me like teach you how to do your first weld. And I was like, okay, sure, like cool. I want to see it. So of course it's a guy because I'm the only girl, right? So he does his weld, and I'm like, whoa, like that's super cool. I've never seen this before. And then kind of gives me like a couple like tips and tricks, and he's like, here, give it a go. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do my weld, and then he stops and he goes, what? And I'm like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, why is yours better than mine? And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I like this, you know? And I didn't even realize that, you know, sometimes you have hidden talents that you're put in a position that you didn't want to do or you never expected to do. And then you realize that, wow, I actually can do this, and I'm actually could be good at this. And from that day on, it was kind of like I wanted to learn more, and I never stopped. I always would go to my teachers and I was like, hey, what projects can I do? And I really started to learn to work with my hands, and I discovered like a whole career path that I never thought possible for myself because I was never put in that kind of position. So that being said, it was like super crazy because it was like a full moment of like, wow, there's something completely different that's out there for me, and I need to follow this. And from welding, I transitioned into the next year in school taking welding and carpentry, and I proceeded to take the trades. And that turning point in grade 12 when it's like, okay, now you have to pick what you got to do for the rest of your life. And I remember sitting in the room and it's like, I don't know, you know, because it's like, I enjoy this, but is this just a hobby? Like, can I actually make a career out of this? And I remember being told by the lady, the counselor that helps you make your decisions, she was like, are you sure you want to do this? And it's crazy because, you know, there's still so many stigmas about women going into these trades. And that made me second guess myself because I was like, okay, maybe I'm not sure about this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But I put that aside because I'm like, I need to enjoy what I do for the rest of my life. And I can't allow other people or society to define where I should go as a career path. And it was kind of like, you know what? I don't want to go to university. I can be super successful working with my hands, and I can be proud of the work I do and go home, love my job every day. And that's kind of where it was like, I'm going to school for the trades. And that's kind of like my backstory. Now, how that incorporated into my platform was through the years of doing what I do and learning to work in my industry. I realized such a big lack of female role models in the industry. And it was throughout the years that I built my platform to where it is now called Tiaras and Trades. And the vision behind the platform is to showcase that, you know, women are women outside of work. And it's important to showcase that, like, just because you work in the skilled trades does not mean you can't be feminine, does not mean you can't do your hair, get your nails done, do your makeup, wear high heels. And I think the huge issue that we have in society is that we believe that you have to be masculine to succeed in these types of roles, and it's not true. So my platform is there to showcase that, you know what, like by day, like I don't care about getting dirty and doing the work I do and come home like either full of mud, grease, or whatever. But when it comes to feeling like my best self as a woman, I still fully believe in myself and believe in like my feminine side and my femininity. So I believe how strong this platform is because it's so unique, but it's so real, and it's so important because there's so many stigmas that need to be still addressed, and that's a huge one.
I love that. Liz, can you do me a favor and check the stream?
It's looking good to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. I'm getting notifications, so I'm like, I just want to make sure we're all good. I'm like, Chloe's story is amazing. Okay, great. To our viewers, if you see anything wrong, please put them in the chat so that I can actually know and see. No, I love your story, Chloe, and I think it's so inspiring because it is true. You don't see a lot of women in, especially the trades that you're in,
Yeah.
and being able to see you grow as an individual and see you blossom into who you are today, and seeing all the amazing things that you do with your platform and in the trades itself is very inspiring. Um, how have you had to overcome any of those, the stigma and the stereotypes?
Mhm.
I want to say I'm pretty fortunate where I work with like a good group of people, and I haven't had to have faced really many challenges. But I know that that's not always the case for me, and I think the way that I realize my own strengths and keep going to do what I do is through social media, and not just through my platform, but also connecting through other women that are doing the same career as me, not necessarily in Sudbury, but around the world. And I think something that's so beautiful with social media now is I feel like, I might be the only woman on site here, but there's other women around the world doing the same thing that I'm doing. So I luckily have a secondary job where I work social media for CoverGirls, and they are a brand that makes workwear for women made by women. And what's amazing with my job there is actually to hype up other women. So I run the social media and I comment on the girls' posts that are in the skilled trades, just like, you go girl, keep it up. Like just, and I get to share it to the stories, and it's super fun because I get to see other women doing what I do, and it makes me realize that I'm not alone. Even though I might feel like I am in my small circle, there is other women doing what we're doing, and there's other women promoting it as well. So I think for me, it's like staying grounded and realizing like what I do is so important. It will create a path for other women. It kind of gives me that drive that like, if I am going to face any stigmas or anything, I realize that what I do is so important, and I got to push through it because it's only going to get better from here. So.
100%.
Mhm.
Quick question. This is totally off topic, but kind of
Yeah.
on topic. Have you seen that new show on Crave? I think it's like called Trades or something.
Oh my god, no. And I don't watch TV. Okay, oddly as I think it's so weird to say, but like I just don't have time.
Yep.
I've seen a like the previews and stuff through Crave. I think it is based in like northern Canada, northern Ontario, where it is a bunch of guys in the trades. And I think there's like a woman who like comes in. I don't really know the
It's
whole
Chloe.
whole story. Not really. No, not really. Because of the commercials, literally like this woman and this guy's hot tub. He's on Trailer Park Boys. And he's the actor from Trailer Park Boys, who's like the main actor with his like long rat's tail, and the girl's in his hot tub, and he's like, did you just shave in my hot tub? And she's like, just my pits. So that's not Chloe.
That's
Take it back.
wild. That's wild that that's come to your mind.
Yeah.
No, just the fact that like she's in the trades and
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe she's seen it, maybe
Fair
she has
enough,
the hype
fair enough.
around it.
She doesn't have time.
No, I haven't, but maybe I should tune into that.
I think you have to tune in at that point.
I think I have to now just so I know what I just explained.
Yep.
So funny.
That's so funny. Whenever I think of your platform, Chloe, I love it. I think it's such a cool thing. But I know you talk about it's like such a interesting thing being a woman in the trades as a pageant girl. But I always think it's so interesting as a pageant girl, you're in the trades. Like even the opposite end of that is you don't see too many. You're out of the loop in both parks,
Oh my God.
which it's awesome. Like and you really embrace it on both ends, which I think is really really cool. Have you ever had anything? I doubt it, but have you ever had any like issue at like a pageant where people are like knocking you because you're not as like in your day-to-day life as glam or anything like that? I don't think that would happen, but has anything?
No, I mean, so this is the way I see it, right?
Yeah.
When I go to a trade event and I'm a speaker and I'm like, oh, hey, like I'm Miss Grace Sudbury, I compete in pageantry. And they're like, they have no clue what pageantry is.
Right.
And
Welcome to Canada.
I gotta explain the whole spiel that every pageant girl has to say to those viewers, right? And it's like, it's not toddlers and tiaras, I swear. And then I go to the pageant scene and I say I'm in the trades, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I feel like it's like both-sided, but I feel like I've come to like adapt to being both personalities that I'm able to do that clean slate of like, on one side this is me and on the other side that's me.
Good.
But
She's like Hannah Montana. She's got two different lives.
Yes,
that might be my new saying, honestly.
There you go. You're welcome. So Chloe, you did mention earlier that by winning the Greater Sudbury title, you have a full scholarship into Miss Ontario. You had more than 2 weeks to prepare, and I know the pageant's just around the corner. So what has life been like for you?
Lots of Canva. In the morning, at night, but it's been really busy, honestly. I gotta say, like, I feel like every night I have something planned, and Miss Ontario has so many components that makes it so different from another pageant. I mean, and you can't not put in the work is essential. Like, you need to be good at your interview, you need to be good like in your community service, and you need to be able to make great presentations, you need to be able to have great stage presence. Like, there's so much that come into play into gaining a Miss Ontario title, and that comes with a lot of work. So I mean, I try to set perfect schedules, and I time myself on like, okay, this is my goal for this week, I need to complete this and this, and then I can move on to the next step. So I don't overwhelm myself too, because I'm in this weird transition now where it's like I'm competing in a pageant for the first time, being full-time also. So, you know, that's super different, and being able to manage that and, manage, still being new at work and having responsibilities and roles that are super new to me, way different than competing when I was in school, because I had more flexibility and more time, and not like strict schedules to follow, and to be able to do that work in between it. So I want to say, I've been working really, really, really hard. I luckily have a lot of support. I just hit send on my wardrobe cart last night, so that was relieving. So everyone just saying it's gonna be like a hit in the park. Like, I'm so excited for my wardrobe. But aside from that, I mean, luckily last year I competed, so I still have a lot of my stuff last year to kind of like just make more out of it. And that's kind of the goal that I'm having, is because everything I do in my PowerPoints for like community service and stuff, all the stuff I did in the past is still extremely relative and important. And it's what I'm doing on top of that now that I'm adding into it. And I mean, overall, I think I really have 2.5 months, and the pageant is in like a month and a half now. So that's crazy to think, because there's still so much on my plate. I mean, we have a 1-minute speech we need to memorize, we have 2 intros we have to memorize, and that doesn't come easy too. That's a lot of late nights reading my speeches, and learning how to emphasize on certain parts of my speeches, being creative with it, what's going to attract the judges, like what do they want to see. And this time I'm really excited, because I'm going to be extremely important and relate everything to my platform, but I also want to showcase a bit more personality this year. So I have different ideas on showcasing like who am I, who's Miss Greater Sudbury, and what I'll be able to bring to the table. So I'm kind of taking more of a backseat, like I'm being secretive with my preps, so that it's kind of more like it's gonna be when I get there, everything that I have ready, it's gonna be a surprise.
It's a stay tuned moment for Chloe. I love that. Well, Chloe, we are at the halfway point of our show, which I'm sure you know because you've been on the show before, is 5 tips from a beauty queen. And, you've grown so much since the last time you were here. You've experienced so much more. So what would your new 5 pageant tips be for all of our viewers watching today?
So I did think of this today at work, because I was like, I want to kind of bring a new look to also the newly evolved person that I am, right? And I think a topic that's so important in pageantry, and I want to relate it to not just pageantry, is networking. And I think being part of events can also open other doors that you didn't know possible for yourself. And a great example was when I was first applying for my jobs in the mines as a summer student, The only standout point that I had in my resume was that I did add my community service that relate to my platform and how I was a community leader. And I actually added on top of that a QR code that linked to my Instagram account so that they could visually see as well all I'm doing to promote women into skilled trades. And that was actually the point that got me the summer job, because I was the only student that didn't have that was in college and not in university that got the job, because they were looking for engineering students in the mining industry. So I think networking is huge because you can create more opportunities for yourself outside of pageant, but also create opportunities for yourself within the pageantry world. You build connections, you meet other people that could be potential sponsors, or even just people that could help you out along your way that relate to your platform or know other people. So networking is huge. As you can see, it's growing in businesses as well as social media and everything. But like my LinkedIn, I had to get a LinkedIn, you know, so I had to relay everything to networking. But I think that's a really big tip that's important, is be there at community events and build the connections you need, because you can go so far. So that was one of my new tips. My second tip is the most important outfit you can bring is confidence. And I think this is extremely important in the pageantry world, because being confident in who you are and showcasing that really reflects throughout the weekend. And it's not being confident in really like just, oh, I'm happy in my skin. It's like, you know, I'm confident in this outfit that I picked to feel my best self. I'm confident in my platform and the abilities it has to make a difference. I'm confident in my preparation that brought me here and that I can succeed. So I think confidence goes a lot more than just feeling good about yourself. It's feeling good about your preparation and just how you can actually like resiliate that confidence. So best outfit is confidence, even though I just like slayed that cart that I just sent on. But so that would be honestly my second tip. And I know this is a pageant tip that is said over and over, but I still think it's so important that I will say it myself, is be true to yourself. And I know we hear this a lot, but it's so true. Honestly, you are your best self, and who you are as a person is so important to showcase, because trying to be someone else will not end you into that goal that you want to be. If you want to be a queen, you want to be an authentic queen. And how can you do that? It's by truly living by who you are and not being afraid to showcase that. So I think that's a beautiful thing that I've been able to grow throughout the years, is being authentic and me, right? Because like we even spoke about earlier, it was like, oh, like some queens might not even know anything about the trade, so how can I fit in that space? It's like I don't have to try to fit in that space. I make my own space to be there. So definitely being authentic to who you are. I mean, it can go such a long way, and we're starting to see strides of women having such different roles and then being a beauty queen. I mean, there's a recent queen who is a police officer, and I've been following her because I think that's so cool to see, you know, even Miss America, all these changes that we're seeing. You know, these are women today, and these are women that are being authentic to themselves and then allowing the pageantry world to shine that. So I think even with my platform, like I relate to these women that are in different roles and that are embracing it and being fully themselves. And I think it's great to see the support that these women are having too, right? Or like, oh my God, this is like the first Miss America that does that. And like you see like the comments like flowing and just people really like hyping that up, and I'm all for it. So being authentic to you and allowing your differences to be your strengths, so huge. So that would be my third tip. My fourth tip is always keep snacks. Because you never know when you might want a snack. And I mean, like, pageantry, we know it's go. There is like, you think you have a schedule, but be ready for your schedule to change like 10 times and your interview to be pushed back 80 times, and then stage time to be pushed back by like 3 hours. And then you're like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna compete 3 hours ago, and now I didn't eat supper, and it's gonna be like midnight and I still won't eat. And just bring snacks, just bring granola bars, protein bars, like anything that will give you that energy to keep pushing and to keep going, because you need to bring that energy all weekend or all pageant week. It really truly matters. You know, you can be dehydrated and tired, but your game face is on that minute you step into that room. You are full of energy, even if you just want to sleep up in a ball and cry. Okay, you need to bring that energy to the pageant. So keeping snacks to keep yourself fueled, ready to go, and to keep up with that, like, you know, I'm here and I'm living in the moment, so I'm gonna take the pageant hangover after and go from there. And the most important one I want to say is make time for yourself. I know planning for a pageant and the preparation that is needed can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. You can feel like you're behind. You know, there's due dates, there's this I got to worry about, there's this category. Just making sure to balance everything. I know it's hard, like it's so hard to say that, but some nights, like even just this week, I was like, you know what, on Monday, I'm not going to touch anything pageants, because I owe it to myself to be able to also like breathe, relax, and spend time with people that I have within my inner circle. So making time for yourself also super important, because, you know, if we keep going, sometimes you're like, go, and you crash. It's not great. So just being able to like sometimes take a seat back and being like, you know what, okay, I worked this hard this week onto my pageant prep. I'm allowed to, you know, plan for something for myself tonight. So I think that's a huge thing, because I think sometimes, like said, we get so like caught up in prepping that we just totally forget about, like, I have a life outside of this, you know, and being able to balance that, so important. So yeah, definitely taking time for yourself, and still, you know, still doing your prep, but allow yourself to be totally like relaxed sometimes. That's 4, right?
That's 5.
Was that 4? That's,
you nailed it. You nailed it to 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
I
particularly like the snack one. That
Me
one's
too. I
so
was
real.
gonna say, I love
It's
the
just
snack
like
one.
that is the most honest advice I've ever heard ever. Because what is the schedule at a pageant?
It's I get an itinerary and it changes.
Yeah.
Always.
So that's a, like, you know, it's like, oh, expect this, but don't expect that.
Literally.
But the snacks are so,
it's important.
yeah.
Snacks.
Like,
as you said that, yeah, sorry. As you were saying that, you're like, stay hydrated. I'm like, I need to drink some water right now. Thanks for the reminder, Chloe.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, I mean, in my bag, I keep granola bars, because I know myself well, even when you get overwhelmed, right? Like, interviews happening, you're like, if I eat like anything right now, I'm gonna throw up. So it's like,
people are like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like just the thought of like, I'm like, I'm not saying like, oh, don't eat, but sometimes like a light snack is just what you need to be able to give that energy, and then you're like, you can worry about that after you accomplish a big part of your competition. And especially like something like interview, because it's always worth so much of your score that you want to feel like you're ready, right? So interview, obviously big, and just keeping that energy. So if you know, live on granola bars all weekend, I'll preach it, because I've been there.
What you gotta do?
Not good for you, Chloe. No, but I do love your advice and your tips, and it's so great to hear you say all of these things, because you and I have experienced a pageant together. We've experienced pageant week together, and we've also experienced handover week together. And like all the things you're saying, I'm like, man, where was this advice when we were going through it? You live and you learn.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I think an important thing to say also is not allowing your losses to defeat you. I think that's so important to say. I think that does like create character, and it allows you to grow, and being able to accept criticism and see where you went wrong and how you can be a better candidate overall. So important. And I remember like even in my teen years, it was like criticism was hard to take in, right? So it's like I don't know if I want to hear that, but you know what? It helps to really grow and to realize that, you know what? You may have thought that you were competing at your your full potential, but you weren't, because you didn't realize that. So I think that's another like tip that I just added, but just kind of share into the air. If I wouldn't have had the losses that I did, I wouldn't have appreciated the wins as much as I did, right? And I feel so like for my journey has led me to where I am now, because it just keeps getting better, right? And there's just no end. It's like, allow yourself to feel the pain, but to like turn it into something positive, and to be able to go forward and be a better person overall, and realize that, you know, you can always be better than the last person you were when you competed, and that's your biggest competition.
Yeah, I love that.
It's all about self-evaluation. I find, like, even when I look back at like old competitions, like horrible videos and photos, and we all have them, and you're just like, I thought I ate, like I was like, I absolutely destroyed this competition when I was in it, and now I look back, I'm like, why did they even let you place? Like, this is crazy. That's insane. So it's nice to be able to like look at yourself and like be able to critique yourself, and I find that's when I've gone from like the biggest improvement, and you see it like as the years go on, it's like a visual improvement. So that's a really good point, because if you don't lose and you just win, you're just going to keep doing the exact same thing, and you're eventually going to like burn out. So yeah, that's a good point.
One thing that I've always lived by while competing too, and it's not really a tip, but it's just like, I find you need to focus all your energy on yourself and not worry about who your competition is. And I think that's a really good thing to throw out into the airs, because I've never soaked in being like, oh, there's this person I need to worry about, because I'm too busy worrying about myself and my own personality, my own competition. And I think it's such an important tip to like kind of like put out there, is that put all your energy into you. And it's not being selfish, but it's actually like accepting that who you are is your own strength, own character, and you need to allow yourself to shine. Some people sometimes like get so worked into worrying about competition that they lose themselves. And I think the best thing I've ever done throughout any competition is literally not worry about what anyone else is doing. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, this girl might have a better wardrobe than me. And it's like, at the end of the day, little things don't matter. And if it's like, okay, maybe my wardrobe was from Shein and this girl had a $400 designer belt and dress, but my confidence in who I am shines, and that's what matters. So definitely like putting all your energy into you and not worrying about others, such an important thing in pageantry, and it helps you grow as a person, honestly. So just kind of something to share out there as well.
People get really nervous about returners too, like people who have done the competition multiple times, which I think is valid, but I don't think it knocks anyone out by any means. You're going to be returning to your competition. Is there anyone that you're looking forward to seeing again? Friends that you made last time, or I guess it's in your general area, so maybe you know more people there.
I mean, there's so many queens that are returning that I'm so excited to see. Even some that are now going to be in the teen division, because I don't know if everyone has heard, but Miss Ontario has transitioned into having a teen title holder and a Miss. So that's fantastic. It's like Miss USA and Miss Teen USA in my mind. There's definitely a lot of queens that I'm looking forward that are returning, because the experience is so amazing, right? And these are some friends that I've had for a while through the pageantry world, and just even some that are out in the audience, right? Like, I feel like I've made so many friends through pageantry, like everywhere, like down south, in outside of Canada. I mean, it's crazy. I feel like my circle's so big, because most of the time I've been in, like, especially when you've been in the pageant scene for a while, you know, some people remember everything, and some are like new to meeting who I am now. And I'm like, I've actually had this whole journey, and like I have this like back history that's with me all the time. But I feel like everywhere I go to, they're like, oh, I know Chloe. And I'm like, perfect. I FaceTimed backstage like one of my friends, and then I was like, oh, can you pass me to this girl and this girl? And say hi to my-" And I was like, okay, I need to stop because I literally know everyone here right now.
That's so funny.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I was like, not cute, didn't have makeup or anything. I just had to say hi to my girls, like that's all that mattered for me. And
There were a lot of
Yeah.
There was a lot of Sudbury at Canada's Perfect this
Big
weekend.
time. Mm-hmm.
Where were you?
I know. I honestly like prepping for Miss Ontario, like being full time. Weekends are really my time to like grasp most of the time to be able to do that prep. And like, I know it's like, oh, well, you have a month and a half. And I was like, no, I really don't. Especially not with this competition. Yeah, it goes fast. Right. So
Sarah Edmonds in the chat saying, looking forward to seeing me. Are you looking forward to seeing Sarah?
Oh yeah, sorry. It took me a minute to realize. Yeah, I am.
I was like, oh.
Sorry, it's the way I read it. Sorry, Sarah's asking if you're excited to see her.
Yeah, I am. I actually so am. It's her first crown. So I mean, obviously, like I could not find the live link, so I was messaging everyone, like spam messaging. It wasn't working. Yeah. I was literally like, I'm just, where's this picture reveal? Where's the crowning moment I need to see? Like there was like everyone, I was like texting like Allison, like everyone backstage. I was like, you need to tell me what's going on with this live stream. But I was doing the calls as soon as I found out like the pageant was done. I was like, hey, where's the scores? Who won? And
yes.
So I was so excited. I mean, I shed a tear for Sarah. I was so excited for her, honestly. I was able to see her a little bit more. I know. I seen pictures and it was beautiful. I even asked her, I was like, can I get that outfit? So,
take that for a minute.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing about that overskirt. It was beautiful. But no, I kept tabs to make sure like what was going on, and I'm just so happy for her too. Honestly, somebody that I've known since I was a teen and who has watched me grow, and I've kind of been on this journey together with her. So to be able to see her finally get that moment that she really, really wanted is so special and so deserving in so many ways. I can't think of somebody more important and excited and who will appreciate the title as much as she will. So definitely so fortunate to have amazing people like Sarah in my back pocket. So yeah, very, very, very lucky.
Chloe, so I know you just did Greater Sudbury, and I know that you're on your way to Miss Ontario, but I'm sure there are people who are watching and are curious about both systems. So if they are interested, can you tell us a little bit about both, or more, I guess, about Greater Sudbury Youth Ambassador?
Yeah, so Greater Sudbury Youth Ambassador is just a local, like small Sudbury pageant, but it is a full scholarship for both the Miss and the teen winner to Miss Ontario. So Greater Sudbury Youth Ambassador really looks for somebody that is a community leader, like I was talking about earlier. So you kind of send in more of like a resume style kind of application, and from there, everything is based off your application. So it's nice because it's a lot easier, especially for those that are like tiptoeing into the pageantry world. I want to try it and not be afraid at a large scale of, girls who've done pageants in the past. So it's more of like a welcoming, smaller experience. It doesn't mean it's not as great. It's just perfect for those who want to experience a pageant for the first time too. It was actually not my first time competing at Sudbury. Fun fact. I think I forgot to mention that, but I competed when I was 16 and I didn't even place. So the growth was real. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really, really great, like I said, great pageant, like a starting level. And it's a lot, like I want to say, inexpensive to start too, right? Because when you jump at those bigger scale pageants, obviously they can cost more. So this is great to kind of have that experience and then like, okay, I love this. And like I said, it's just like a full weekend of just workshops and then, dive right into the pageant. So great experience. Miss Ontario is completely different, but not at the same time, honestly, in the way where Miss Greater Sudbury is a lot more relaxed in competition. There's not as many, things to worry about, especially when it comes to scoring. So everything is mostly scored on your resume, and from there on stage questions and stage performance. So that being said, it's a lot more at ease to compete at that pageant than Miss Ontario. Miss Ontario is very, very, very hard in a good way because it helps shape your character like fully to 100%, and you need to be ready for it. And being in the system for so long, I like know all the categories like by heart. But I mean, just like a 1 minute speech like that is big. 1 minute doesn't sound like a long time, but trust me, when you're reading a 1 minute speech that you need to memorize in front of the judges, super long. your introductions, there's a preliminary competition, and there's an evening competition for like the final night. So there is a lot more components. One of the super important ones is called Empower Her. So Empower Her is kind of like, it used to be back in the day scrapbooks. So I still have my scrapbooks. I actually just shared it on my story not long ago. And now it's, obviously all done through Canva, but it's basically like a PowerPoint, a journal, but how you are a woman of influence, and your community involvement, as well as like your platform, who you are, what makes you you, basically. So my Empower Her is like 70 pages long. So yeah, it's been a journey, I'll say. I definitely spent a lot of time on my Empower Her, and that's because of all my community involvement. And I did focus everything leading back to 14-year-old Chloe. So, and that's every competition. And the way I formatted my Empower Her, I'm super proud of it, because it really showcases that not only do I make a difference in my community, but I make a difference through my platform, and I am a leader in my role. And through Empower Her, I just love that we're really able to showcase that whole perspective about ourselves. So it's a big part of the competition. I think it's really important because you need to be able to be a woman of influence to receive the Miss Ontario crown. So that, that's a whole other an area competition you need to worry about before pageant weekend, and it needs to be submitted before. Then there's pageant promotion. Again, a whole kind of similar thing, but it's how you promote the pageant. So in the different ways of like, were you able to have like a newspaper copy? Did you create social media accounts? Did you go on CTV News? So the different ways that you promote the pageant, and obviously your community involvement going into that pageant. So for me, it would be everything that I'm doing as Miss Greater Sudbury counts, because I'm promoting this sash, but I'm also promoting the Miss Ontario pageant. So that's another PowerPoint that has to be sent too. So yeah, it's a lot of work behind the scenes, and that's where sometimes we don't even realize how much work goes into a pageant until we're competing, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, I thought it was going to be easy. I didn't realize that I have to do 90% of my prepping before I even get there. Exactly. And everything you're doing during the pageant week or weekend is like the smallest portion of it. Yeah. So, I mean, writing my speeches, being like proud of my wardrobe, all of those things go into play with Miss Ontario. So there is a lot more to worry about, but in a good way. So it's a great pageant. I mean, we have phenomenal like speakers that come in to like educate us, or just like fun workshops throughout the weekend. We do like a fitness challenge, but it's more of like a fun kind of like style fitness challenge.
Nice.
Obviously photo shoots, which we all have so much fun with, and just mingling with the girls. I mean, that's always super important, is having connections and like friends for life. And that's why I'm so excited about returning this year, because I built connections last year, but there's girls that I've known in the pageantry world for so long that I'm so excited to see again. So yeah, I mean, that's really the wide difference in Miss Ontario and Miss Greater Sudbury. There is a big difference, but if you're ready to put in the work, Miss Ontario is a great pageant.
Awesome.
Carol does a great job with all of her pageants, so it's just no matter what level or what age you are, I feel like there's always something for everyone, which I like that.
Yeah. She's so great, honestly.
Yes, we love her. Lots of love to the Sudbury community and to the pageants in the next
Yeah.
couple weeks because they have a lot going on. Like they just had youth ambassadors and regional empowerments coming up, and everything's coming up. So it's
And then
exciting.
Miss Ontario.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. Yep,
yeah,
nonstop.
It's so
nonstop.
great though, because like I remember when you and I first met, Chloe, when I met like the Sudbury pageantry girls, there was just like a pocket. It's like you and Milena. And then now there's like all of these people. Like, where'd you all come from? This is
Yeah,
They've
awesome.
grown.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's so true because I feel like me and Milena were the first like Sudbury girls out there, and all of a sudden, boom, a whack of them.
Big, yeah.
We
Yeah.
were all
Place.
at Perfect last weekend.
Yeah.
I know, so crazy.
Mhm.
But I think what helps is Cheryl having these local events really allows women to experience it and then proceed either with the same system or discovering new systems. So it's great that Cheryl holds all these pageants because she does offer the same opportunity for women of all ages, from Little Miss division to Ms., Mrs., and even elite divisions. I think, yeah, it's crazy and it's so beautiful because I'm like, I love my experience. So it's great to know that, you know, women aren't limited after they age out of Miss to be able to keep experiencing that. So definitely really nice to see that coming from Sudbury. So
I love it. I love it. Well, Chloe, before we wrap things up, because it's been great having you on, and I know that we can keep going on forever. I mean, you and I at Handover Weekend were up until like the crack of dawn, so I know we can keep going. But if people are interested in getting to know a little bit more about you, following your journey to Miss Ontario, where can they find you?
okay, so I basically have two main accounts through Facebook and Instagram. So my Instagram is Miss_Chloé _Arsenault. And there's where you can see all things tiaras and trades. That's my caption. And you'll be able to see my journey to Miss Ontario and as well what I do in my day-to-day for work, some cute like, you know, queen and trades kind of related stuff. So that's my platform on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook at Chloé Arsenault's Pageant Journey. So definitely tune in to see as I ramp up going towards Miss Ontario. So I'm hoping to, you know, keep going on the stride that I am, more posts to come, and just super excited to go back on that stage again, honestly. So yeah, please give it a follow, and I'm sure I'll be so excited and happy to share my journey with everyone. So
amazing. Well, we can't wait to see your journey.
Yes.
I love the fact that you are back in a crown and sash and doing your thing, because it's been a while, and I'm so happy for you that you get to continue your dreams with Miss Ontario and Greater Sudbury, because it's perfect for you.
Yeah.
It's just really so deep rooted, you know.
Anyone knows Chloe knows that this is a perfect place for her.
Yes. Yeah, we're so excited for you. We'll be tuning in, cheering everyone on, but we have a little special place in our heart for Chloe. So, but yeah, have the best time, everyone, at the pageant. It's going to be a really fun one, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
So excited for you. And Elizabeth, where can people find you online if they were interested in seeing what you're up to?
For sure. You can follow me at Elizabeth Marnock Pageantry on Instagram. You can also follow me on Elizabeth Marnock Artistry. That's my hair and makeup account for pageant. So take a peek. Right now, the only thing I'm booking for is Kinder United World, which is coming to London in May. So there's lots of pageants to be had and lots of to be consumed. So I'm sure there'll be lots of content on both of those. And you can also follow me on Facebook at Elizabeth Marnock. I put everything on there, as we all do in the pageant world. So yeah, how about you, Regine?
You all can follow the pageant sit down first and foremost. If you have been watching today's episode and have been enjoying all the content that Chloe's given, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you like all things pageantry or you're interested in pageantry, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Regine Elena. If you're looking for pageant coaching, you can hit me up at pageantcoaching.regineelena. My hair clip is falling off, so I'm just gonna pull it off. And yeah, that's where you can find me. Once again, Chloe, thank you so much for you. Like you said, you've been very busy lately, so thank you for spending an hour of your time with us today. It's been great catching up with you. And so crazy to see the person that you've become. Like, you've just grown and blossomed into this queen. I'm just like, where's Miss Teen? Like, I'll bring her back.
She's burst like the confetti cannon. She has grown.
I
love
would
it.
be for the confetti cannon and be at the right spot this time.
Yes, I
There
do
you
wish
go.
that for you.
We're putting it out there.
Yes.
But Chloe, don't be a stranger. Hopefully, you come back with a Miss Ontario crown and sash. Just saying, just saying. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. Sarah Edmonds, thanks for being in the chats. And congrats again on your new title. Chloe, we hope to see you soon. It's been a while. And everyone else, thanks for joining us. We will see you all next time. Bye.